So I took a look at the Thor Love and Thunder trailer, and after some careful consideration, soul-searching, and rigid application of objective standards, I think I've come to a conclusion. The MCU as we know it is drawing to a close. Sure, they probably don't know it yet, but if there's one thing your boy Winterwolf knows, it's when something has overstayed its welcome. And that could be your in-laws at Christmas, a TV series staring down the barrel of season 12 or a fifth spin-off, or the girl who won't leave your apartment by breakfast the night after the world's most shameful Tinder hookup. But if word of mouth and observable metrics count for anything, it's that interest in the MCU at the box office and on Disney is waning. Each new limited series and each subsequent box office offering is coming up shorter than the previous. The decrease was kicked off with the disappointing advent of the MCU's Phase 4 lineup, bookended by the double bombs of Black Widow and the Eternals, and prolonged by the half-dozen links of lead chain of meandering, undercooked, and oftentimes preachy shows featured on Disney+. I'm getting the sad sense that Thor Love and Thunder is sadly going to be more of the same. The trailer didn't exactly blow me away, and I found myself wondering if it was a good move on the MCU's part to skip over a few decades worth of popular source material to arrive at a story arc from the comics considered by many to not be worthy. The trailer opens up, we get a little cool montage. It's like Thor running through the forefront as he ages from boy to teen to man. We get a little bit where he's planting Mjolnir, probably walking away from battle. Some cool visuals that are kind of cool. He's meditating on top of a mountain in front of a tree. Marvel logo intro. He's working out with chains attached to something big and dead. That's pretty cool. He's slimmed down. He's fighting with the Guardians. The Guardians are going somewhere without him, and he turns and walks away like he's going on his own. They fly off in the ship. He seems happy to see them go, so that's probably from the end of the movie. I believe we're in Olympus now. Russell Crowe's playing Zeus. Some pirate chick swings in. Thor shows the end of the movie where he restores the Bifrost, probably. Thor meets up with Korg. They see a big dead carcass in a snow world. We see New Asgard. We see King Valkyrie in a business suit. Little eye gag scene that broke the internet with talk that Thor and Star-Lord are gay or bi. Obviously not the case. It's just a sight gag. And then old Mjolnir comes flying in, reforged, and Natalie Portman's Jane Foster picks it up. And then we get the release date. Alright, so there's a lot going on there, a lot to unpack. I've seen the subtitles for this trailer before. It indicates that this movie is going to deal with him kind of doing yet another journey of the soul. He's going to explore life after Endgame. He's going to find himself. I don't know what he's been doing, because if this takes place after Endgame and King Valkyrie's already the head of New Asgard, like, what have you been up to? Like, I'm not sure I need to see another Thor goes on a vision quest kind of journey movie here. I hope he spends a lot of time with the Guardians of the Galaxy here. I think Thor needs a cast of characters to play off of, and it's got to be more than Korg. But I'm not sure if that's what we're going to get here. You really don't get a whole lot of anything from the trailer, really, and it's strange if you play it without the soundtrack, which I guess was a take on Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child of Mine. The trailer really doesn't reveal anything. Like, you don't get a shot of the villain, you don't get a shot of what the plot is. Strange choice for a trailer for a movie that I don't think is supposed to be a period piece. It plays off of the graphics they use in the trailer also, that kind of give it the impression it's a period piece, and I just think it's strange. Like, that approach worked in the Wonder Woman 84 marketing press, because, you know, it was a period piece. It was supposed to be in the 80s. But I wasn't aware that that's the case here, and I'm not sure that it has any place in the MCU right now, that this movie takes place after Endgame, which was either present day or slightly ahead of present day, so I don't understand the creative choice of doing 80s throwback there. It's completely out of place unless there is a time travel element to this movie that they haven't discussed, and I don't believe there is. I don't have anything to go on from that. I'm not too familiar with the Love and Thunder storyline from the actual print run of the comic, but I don't think that was a gimmick that was utilized during that story arc. You know, that ties in neatly to another concern that I have about this trailer. Usually, and unless this is the official trailer, we're only like 7 weeks away from this movie or so. I'm pretty, or maybe a little bit more than that. I think it comes out in July. We haven't seen the villain at all. I've heard there are a couple of set photos out there of Christian Bale in costume as Gore the God Butcher. If they're not going full CGI, you know, mapped onto him as the character, it's not looking too good from what I've heard from other places that claim to have additional images that haven't yet been leaked online. but I'm willing to stick a pin in that one until we actually get a final look. My concerns are, as always, guys, it's with story-related stuff. I think the I need to find myself storyline for Thor in particular is played out. We're talking about a god character here who's thousands of years old. Like, why is it that he's searching for himself within the last 5 seconds? Like, times 3 or 4 movies. That this is not a journey I need to go on with this character again, Endgame or not. I think that really only highlights how effective an endpoint that Endgame was for most of the A-list MCU characters that they had. And on a story level, I don't see, even if it's just Thor coming out of retirement to do, I'm going to go on one last ride because the Guardians need me, because Gore the God Butcher showed up to do some, God butchering shit. Like, I don't care at this point. Like, I don't need to see that. I don't see what Thor's stakes are in that situation. Odin's gone, Hera's gone, Loki's gone. If he's concerned about the fate of New Asgard being invaded or destroyed by the God Butcher, he shouldn't have left the throne in the first place, which was a dumbass thing to do. For me, I'd kick it a little bit differently. I'd go with a more traditional, straightforward route, because I think it suits the character plenty. Like, maybe he had the best intentions of leaving Valkyrie in charge as King Valkyrie of New Asgard, but instead what we find out is that she either A, is completely unfit to rule and needs to be removed from power but doesn't want to be, but given the current political climate, I doubt they'd ever let that particular character be removed from power by Thor's particular character, which leads me neatly into idea number 2. They could have done the dual hero's journey, and I think a lot of people would have been on board for that. You could have had Thor adopting a new role as an older, wiser character, maybe even adopting like a mentor role and going through the journey of that, teaming up with Valkyrie one-on-one as she goes through the hero's journey herself and becomes a more valid, more well-fleshed out, more thoughtful, more capable leader for her people. Because we see in the trailer, it's Valkyrie sitting in a chair against the wall, looking, really bored and out of place at like a town hall meeting, wherein all of the new Asgardians are dressed like present-day mortals. Like, how does that work? Like, that visual alone struck me more than anything else in the trailer as just being completely out of place. Like, we're talking about an alien race of people that had their own style, their own culture, their own fashion. And when we get our first look at them here in the events post Endgame, they look like any rando town hall meeting sitting around a table in like casual business attire. I didn't like the look of that. So I guess I'm coming out a little negative on this movie so far, guys. I'm not sure this is going to be a rush out and see. This looks like another extension of Marvel's failed Phase 4, in my opinion. I won't be kicking the door down to see this, and I definitely won't be kicking the door down to see it if Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness goes over lukewarm. If it gets any worse than that, I think I'm out on Marvel altogether until I just stumble across them on Disney Plus or at the Red Box when I'm coming out of Walmart after a grocery run or something. That's all I got on this one, guys. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see how this movie goes. Like, sub, comment below, help me keep my lights on, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.